If you want a complete no-nonsense guide on how to get the best FPS possible in Fortnite, then you've come to the right place. We're going to get straight into this. Then I'm going to give you some in-game options and the best optimizations, and then I'm going to give you some like tweaks on the side and things you can do to optimize your PC overall that'll help you do better in Fortnite and overall in other games as well. Of course, we're going to start this off by going to the item store and putting in support credit code WIZZY for an extra 250 FPS increase. Then you want to go to your settings like normal. The main tab we're going to be focusing on here is video, starting off with display. Now, windowed mode. In some other games, you may experience getting better FPS improvement going windowed full screen. However, in this game, you're going to want to stick to full screen. It's going to give you less input delay. It's going to give you some extra FPS increase. Just keep it on full screen. And if you don't have this option for some weird reason, then you're a bit buggered. Now, moving on to the resolution, obviously, you probably want to keep it on 1920 by 1080 to get your standard sort of, you know, nice clean display. However, if your system's a bit lower ends, then I would recommend going to 1600 by 900. And then if you're already down there, then hit this one. But you know, that's really pixelated, this one. But if you've got a high refresh rate monitor and you're not getting it on your native one, then whack it down by one, and this should get you a nice increase of like around 50 FPS is what I found when I did it. So try that if you want. By the way, I just want to make this clear, these are not stretched resolutions. Now, I'm sure you've seen in the past where stretched resolutions are like ridiculously stretched and there's a character wide model as large as your screen. That's not what this is going to do. As the aspect ratio is here, it's 16 by 9 and it's just the same for all of them. That is not going to change your resolution right there. So, moving on to the frame rate limiter. Now, a lot of people recommend that, say, if you've got a 144Hz monitor, then you want to rack up one above, unless you've got a 240Hz monitor, or if you're big balling it with a 360Hz monitor, then you probably want to keep it on the cap because it's just a big increase. And unless you're on a 240Hz one, and you can still somehow manage, I mean, if you can manage 360Hz and you haven't got a 360Hz monitor, then moving on. So yeah, that can just, although it doesn't actually give you that frame rate, it will make the, so for example, it will make the 144Hz feel much more smooth as you're getting that consistency of the 144Hz and over. Now, moving on to the graphics right here, not the graphics quality, just the graphics. Yes, I know. Right, brightness. This game, this season in particular, is very bright. So if anything, you're probably going to want to turn it down so you get some more vibrance, which I'm going to tell you in the next thing. But for me, I keep it at 100. Use interface contrast. Essentially, it just whacks up your contrast if you want those extra, like, crispy, bright, overly saturated colors. Then this is the one right here. Again, I just keep it on normal. Now, colorblind modes. Now, in previous seasons, colorblind modes have been proven to help you see in the storm. Now, that's complete bullshit. Okay, you're not going to get that anymore. It's gone. The only reason you're going to want to change these is so that you can get more vibrance in your game, or just a different look in your game. And the only one that's probably going to give you that is Protonop. I think that's how you say it. I butchered that. And you probably want to put that like around 4, 5, or 6. Nothing too high. And that's just going to make your game look a lot more vibrant. As if you go into the desert area especially, and you're running on lower graphics settings over here, it's going to make your game very bland, and everything all mushes together with one big grey, sandy mush of crap. So, you know, fiddle around this, see what you like, but for me, I just keep it on base because I'm not here bitching about it. So going into your graphics quality right here, don't ever hit that. Also set quality. For some reason, high chance it's going to whack all your stuff up to epic for no reason. So what you want to do, if you've all got a mess right here, you just want to come down to low, set your 3D resolution over to 100. Now, this is the 3D resolution. Is your resolution here. So currently 100% is going to be 1920. If you whack it down to 1600, I believe around 60, in the high 60 range, I think around here would be that resolution. You can still keep it on 1920 and keep it to that, and it would be the same quality you get here. You just basically getting rid of pixels, and it's just going to make it look a bit not smooth to say. You're going to be losing those. It's going to look a lot more blurry. But you're going to get a big FPS increase from it, so fiddle around with that. For me, I just keep it on 100. View distance. Don't get view distance confused with player models. You still see all your player models the exact same. It just shows objects and generated stuff on the map closer distance. You won't be able to see it from far. Their distance will be the same, so don't worry about that. Shadows you don't want it. If you're playing any game competitively, you never want shadows. Shadows are just a waste of time, waste of space. No one really likes them. And then the rest of them here, except from textures, we'll go back to that anti-alias and effects post-processing. Just keep it off. You don't need it. Now, textures, an interesting one I know. Most people now are starting to bump it up. I know, right? We're getting into some mad shit. Why would we be putting textures up to epic? That's just gonna destroy our FPS. Well, shush, because it's not. Okay, listen. Hear me out. So, actually putting your textures up is going to give you a performance increase on most systems. Okay. So since Fortnite is a very heavy CPU intensive game, your CPU, if you open up Task Manager, whack on your usage, you'll see your CPU, generally speaking, if you haven't got a really crappy CPU and a really god tier graphics card, you know, it's going to be different then. We're just talking about you got a pretty average PC system. Your graphics card is probably going to be doing mine does about 30, while your CPU is going to be cranking out around 70% usage. All right. So whacking the texture settings up is going to make it work more, and it's going to give you more of an FPS increase. For me, I've actually found that high works for me the most, and I get around about 20 to 50 FPS increase. Is around that sort of range. Obviously, it's not stable because my FPS for some reason is never stable. You can never get it consistent. But I highly recommend you sorting around your texture settings here. Now, if you're on a lower end PC, you may just find that the low is the best for you. You know, mid-range or high, that might work for you. And then epic's just a little overkill. That may not do it for you unless you're rocking like one of the new bad boy graphics cards. But I mean, let's be real, who can actually get their hands on them? But I recommend medium or high, and that will be good for you. Going into advanced graphics, VSync, turn this pile of shit off. You don't want it. It's not nice. It's gonna not do what you want it to do. It looks nice, sounds fancy. You look at it, you don't want it. No, it's gonna harm your FPS. If you're capping your FPS at like 60 or something, sure, run VSync, it'll look nicer. Motion blur, man, get motion blur. Talking of crap, motion blur, just get rid of that. That's just horrible. Don't want motion blur on, I'm telling you now. Don't you can try it, no, just absolutely not. You don't want it. Now, show FPS. If you want to see your FPS, which I'm sure you want to do because you're going to try and be measuring what you're getting. Look, I mean, I can't even get consistent 240 in the menu screen. Excuse that. So over here is your DirectX 12 version. Mine's on 11 right now. However, you may experience a better FPS increase from DirectX 11. Honestly, this one just depends on your system. Try it a couple times and see which one works. Honestly, for me, I don't see a big difference in using either of them. They're all pretty the same on my system. However, some people have found DirectX 11 to be much more better and a much better FPS increase. However, some people are saying the complete opposite. Honestly, it just depends on your system. A baseline to go off would be if you've got an older system, DirectX 11 may work better for you. However, if you've got a newer system, DirectX 12 may work better for you. Honestly, you have to sort it out for yourself because I can't tell you here. Don't take my word for it. You just gotta fiddle around yourself. Now, allow multi-threaded rendering. This one, again, if you've got more than 6 cores and more than 6 threads, which most of you are, then you want to keep multi-threaded rendering on. However, if you've got a lower end CPU that has lower threads and lower cores, then you want to turn it off because you're going to actually not get an FPS increase. But I highly recommend you test it around. If you've got like one of the new Ryzen I'm not going to say Intel because shit. Then you're going to be fine. But if you've got an older CPU, then you may want to just have a little test around to see which one works. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Again, a lot of these sayings here, but a lot of this is you sort of, I'm telling you this and that, and you're gonna have to test it for yourself to see if it works. I mean, no. And then you want to hit apply, and then back, and you want to purchase everything in the item shop. Wait, why is it capped it to 144 FPS? Right, now we're getting into the juicy stuff. We're coming off the basic Fortnite settings. So, you want to go into your file manager. You want to find where Fortnite's downloaded. For me, it's on my D drive, Big Daddy O. Go to Fortnite, go to Fortnite game, binaries, Win64. Then you want to scroll down till you see the Fortnite icons, which are the Fortnite clients. Top one, the one that says shipping, ignore the other 3 right here. You want to highlight it, right click it, go into properties, go to compatibility at the top, and if you haven't got disable full screen optimizations, then you want to make sure that is ticked. You want to hit apply, and you want to click OK, and you've done. Basically, this is going to be very good with running DirectX 11. Apparently, a lot of people are saying that this goes very well with DirectX 11, as it gives a big performance increase towards it, which is why a lot of people are saying that DirectX 11 is actually better on Fortnite, which is why I'm telling you to try both of them, because there's a lot of people saying this and that, and there's a lot of people saying this and that, and then you got me telling you this and this. So moving on to the next thing. And if you've made it here, you've made it to the end, congratulations. Now you've got a nice FPS increase, less input delay at the start of the new season. Isn't that just great? You're welcome. And that's it. A no-nonsense guide on how to get an amazing FPS increase. Well, I've been FPS Boosts, and I'll see you in the next one.